Hey everybody, Todd Schroth here with my good friend Michael, Maher of 7 Levels of Communication and Miracle Morning for Real Estate Agents on Agents Who Win. Michael, I want to thank you for being here and taking the time out of your busy schedule to share with us like how to build business through relationships and referrals.
Well, it's a pleasure. Thanks for having me on, Todd, as always. And man, I'm looking forward to seeing you in person. Are we actually doing this live and in person next week?
Yes, we're going to see each other next week. And I mean, it'll be the 3rd or 4th time I met you. It'll be awesome to see you again. It's been over a year since I think you've been on the road and doing speaking events. We've got 2 things we got going on next week, which is awesome, which we'll announce as we get towards the end of the show here.
No, we can't wait. You gotta tell them what we're doing. Right? All right, what's going on? What's going on next week? We got to tell them, right?
So we are hosting an event. We can break the news early.
That's
so
right.
We're hosting an event with Michael.
Surprise!
Oh, surprise! we're having you in office, or not in office, but in Orlando, to talk about how to build rebooting your business through relationships and referrals. And excited to have you in. So we're if you're in the Orlando area or in Florida, you want to come up to Winter Park, Orlando area. Definitely get your tickets. We're going to be dropping the links for the Insight registration and for the the virtual. We're actually going to be hosting this virtually as well on June 3rd from 1 to 4. So we'll have the links dropped in the comments here after the show's done. Check it out. We're looking forward to seeing everybody there.
So this is a live event, real in person in Orlando. I've already gotten a couple of questions about it, which is really cool. That it's like, are you really going to be live? Are you really going to be there? And it's like, man, yeah, Georgia and Florida, we're ready to open up, right? Let's go. Let's have some fun. So Todd, who should go to the event?
I think everybody should go to the event. It's new agents, seasoned agents, agents who think they know it all should be there. That's because, right. My business is built on relationships and referrals, and I'm still learning about how to do this because I want to scale what I'm doing already at a better pace.
Well, it's like the title, right? The 7 Levels of Communication. The subtitle is Go From Relationships to Referrals. Yep. We all have relationships. A lot of people understand that the business is not necessarily transactional, that it should be relational as well. But they don't understand, how do we get to making it a referral relationship? How do we go from having relationships to attracting referrals? And we've discovered that. We've studied it, we've researched it, we've honed it, we've implemented it, we've mastered it. And that's what I love about it. And we've got some 2020 tweaks that we've added because we had to. We adapted and adopted during the COVID. And I'm so excited to share about some of the things that we've done to tweak this system to make it even more powerful to attract referrals.
No, I think it's a big thing. We've all pivoted our businesses. And I used to do a lot of events last year. We kept them very small and, COVID friendly, but we want to get back out there and start promoting again. And it's kind of a learning experience when we're promoting your event again, because we're so used to all the effort we put into it. It's like, God, we've got to go through that whole process again to make sure it's going to work and be successful.
That's right. So where is it?
Alfond Inn in Winter Park.
Okay. Winter Park, beautiful area. Love that area.
I love Winter Park area. And the Alfond Inn, I keep telling people about it, like, man, it's such a beautiful hotel.
True story. Almost moved to Winter Park. Way back when. Yep. When I was moving to Marietta, Georgia, which is outside Atlanta, we moved here before the airport so that I could travel. I was traveling weekly. And in Kansas City, I could not fly anywhere direct, or very few places. Yeah. So Atlanta, we could fly everywhere direct, but we were actually looking at about 7 different cities to move, and they had to have a major airport. And we narrowed it down to Orlando, Tampa, Dallas, and San Diego, and including with Atlanta. And it kind of ended up Atlanta, Georgia, just because of the bigger airport. And we found a nice place to live. But Winter Park was on the list, to the point where we were looking at houses in Winter Park. So interestingly enough.
Every time we get a flight somewhere out west, we're always connecting through Atlanta. So I totally understand why you picked that area.
Yep. I think Florida's in my future. I do. In fact, next week I'm going to Florida. So
we'll be sure to show you houses after the event.
All right. So when's the event? What's the time frame?
June 3rd, 1 to 4.
So June 3rd, 1 to 4. I want to make sure I'm there on time, right? Yeah. Because I'm a realtor and we're famous for being early and on time. Yes. So I want to make sure I'm there 1 to 4. And then you're having a little bit of a cocktail reception afterwards, right?
Cocktail reception 4 to 5. You know, talk to us, talk to the vendors, see what we're doing, see how things are. We've got drink tickets being provided. We got appetizers there. It's going to be a great time.
I love it. I love it. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Definitely. We are too. So let's kind of dive into some of what's going to be discussed at the event. My biggest question whenever I'm talking to an author is what brought about the book.
Mm-hmm. So interesting story on that is so I actually was a teacher and a coach, and a football, baseball, and basketball coach, and softball coach back in the day, in the 90s. And then I got in, I actually was looking for a summer job, something to do during the summer. And I also bought my first home. The on-site agents at the home I built were just like, oh my gosh, you'd be great in this business. So I got into the business, and I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I ended up, a softball buddy who I played softball with ended up buying a house. We helped them buy the house, and I had a housewarming party for them 30 days after they moved in. I got 11 referrals at that housewarming party. So all of a sudden I went from not having a clue, not having any business, to being really, really super busy. And that summer, in 3 months, I earned more than I had earned in 9 months of teaching. So in 3 months of real estate, I had already earned more than I had teaching. So I taught that year. And by then the writing was on the wall. During planning periods after school, I was making phone calls. I was trying to be a realtor and a teacher, which it's tough to have two full-time jobs. And so ended up, long story short, over the next 3 years, I went from essentially 7 million to 37 million to 87 million. To 40 million. And the transactions went basically like 37, 87, 187 in my 3rd year, and then 200, and then 255 in my 5th year. So, you know, I got really busy really quickly. Well, it was all referrals, and people were like, well, how are you doing that? You know, and Howard Brinton interviewed me for his Star Power Star of the Month. And I was getting thousands of emails, thousands of messages, and I kept giving them like the housewarming party or the event or the calls or the power note or the different things we were doing. I gave them a strategy, and I was giving them an answer, but I wasn't giving them the answer. Yeah. So I knew I had to give them the answer, which is bigger than just one strategy. So I knew I needed to write a book. But like a lot of people who know they need to write a book, I didn't write a book. I didn't write a book for 2 or 3 years because I was busy selling real estate. Well, then on let me make sure I got the date right. December 18th of 2007, I ended up having knee surgery on December 13th that year. And then 5 days later, I died. I essentially flatlined in a hospital due to blood clots. There were 7 blood clots, 3 in each lung. 1 went through my heart, and killed me for 37 seconds. I was resuscitated. And when I was resuscitated, it was a pretty emotional moment. One of the things that I thought about was that I almost died with this system in my head, and this system can help a lot of people. So Todd, that night in ICU, in intensive care in Olathe Medical Center of all places, I outlined the 7 levels of communication, and that's what became 7L 18 months to 2 years later. And then we launched it in 2010, became a bestseller in 7 days to my astonishment. And then it's been a bestseller for 11 straight years on Amazon. And now we're over, I think we're over 1,400 5-star reviews, and, over 100,000 copies sold. And it's been amazing.
That's an amazing story. I mean, kind of just backing up on the teacher side, that, a lot of teachers that I know have gotten into the business do very well because this is a nurturing transaction, and you guys as teachers can know how to nurture. Now, as even coming from a coach side, as we're coaching people through the process, and you've got like a double whammy, to be able to be successful is why you you made, it was more in 3 months than you did in a year as an age or as a teacher.
Yeah.
But it's funny at the very end, not funny, but funny how you were flatlining and you're like, I can't die with this. I've got something I got to give to the world. So God brought you back and said, okay, and even in ICU, putting that out there, it's crazy. Getting it out. Here's the pattern, and here we are.
Yep. It's amazing sometimes what we need to kick us into gear, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like I said, the book was a side project that never got done until it was a main project that finally got done, and it's it's one of those where, what's happened since then has just been nothing short of amazing with the people that I've met and the lives and businesses that have been changed. I just didn't realize how special it was to build a business based off love, generosity, and appreciation, and have it be so profitable and so fulfilling. Yeah. And I think that, I didn't know it was different. Right. And because I just was working, I was just living it and working it and systematizing it and tweaking it. And then, to have it come roll out and people implement it and other people have even more success. I had a gal who I've never had 400 referrals at an event, but we have somebody who got 400 referrals in one day, 409 referrals in one day.
I would love to hear about that one.
Yeah. So, we just had I have so many stories of people who literally, they got 1 or 2 referrals in a year and they're getting 100 to 200 referrals a year by running the 7L system. That's not just a business changer. That's a life changer. Imagine if you were getting, 3 referrals a week, how that would change how you do business and how you sleep at night, Yeah. So you
got to think about what I'm spending on marketing, bringing in online lead generation, $5,000 Google, $4,000 pay-per-click, whatever it is, there's 10, 20,000 a month going out in marketing. Why not take that 10, 20,000 a month, put it back into events or referral systems and actually generate more quality opportunities for the team that's out there? Because that's going to be people who know, like, and trust you and that want to work with you.
That's right. And people say, is it about events? Is it just about events? And the thing is, it's not, right? It's not. There's a ton of other stuff to it. But the thing is an event is just a really good excuse to call and go to people. It's just one of those where, what's more important than the event is the invitation, right? Because you're reaching out in a really positive way. And, what's more important than the event? Follow-up, follow-up afterwards and having conversations that, but what we need to do is we're not looking for an excuse to have a call. We're hopefully what I would hope is we're looking for an excuse to have a wow conversation. We want to have a conversation where the other person on the end of the line says, wow, at some point, And, the Great Retrace is another great example of a strategy that leads to a wow. Literally, people are like, I'll call someone who, referred someone to me, who connected someone, and so on. And I'll trace it back. And, I'm 3 or 4 back. And I'm like, hey, I just wanted to, thank you about Todd, and then I go, and they're like, who's Todd? And I'm like, well, here's the thing, right? If you had not connected me to Dave, who had not connected me to Cindy, who had not connected me to Tommy, then I would have never met Todd. So the first and foremost thing I want you to do is I want to say thank you for connecting me in the first place, right? And they're like, wow, you're welcome. That's awesome. And it's like, yeah, So, but what happens when you do that is it's all based on appreciation. So when you appreciate introductions, connections, and referrals, what happens is you get more introductions, connections, and referrals. But notice, I didn't say I'm still in the business. I'm still doing business. I need business. No, I didn't say any of that, but all of it is implied because I have a new client because of the person that I'm talking to. So it's pretty powerful stuff.
Whenever I explain your book, I always say it's like the 7 levels, and I may be wrong in the way I'm explaining it, but people get the gist of it's, what exactly you said. Michael was referred to me through so-and-so, through so-and-so, and through so-and-so. And they're like, who's so-and-so? Well, and then it's a reason to call all those people as well and talk about the different connections that were made. And it's almost like the family tree is like, how are we all connected?
That's right.
And put it all together. And it's a reason to talk to them. So it's a good way to sit there and go back and forth with them. And it was one of my questions too, was, is this about events? And that was exactly it. It's not all about events.
That's right. That's right. It's part of the deal. And the other thing too is that, I'm not going to make any excuses about events. Events are a big reason that we're talking today, right? We're actually talking because of an event. Think about that. Yeah. So an events are a centerpiece to what we do. And what we've discovered is the thing about events they are one-to-many versus a lot of relationship building that has to be done one-to-one.
Yeah.
So what if we can create a lot of one-to-one opportunities with a leverageable and scalable one-to-many type of an event or thing, right? Which is an event. And the thing about it is an event can be 4 people. An event can be 40 people. An event can be 400 people. An event can be 400,000 people, Yeah. So, an event is just 3 or more, right? 3 or more is a crowd. So right. I think people need to look at the way they look at events differently, is it's not about getting a lot. It's about high quality people, That's like this event that you're throwing, Todd, is, we're actually not inviting every agent in Orlando. This is really your VIPs. These are the people that you want to add value to. You asked us not to promote it on our end as much because you wanted to have your people in the room, people who really wanted to learn, people who understood this philosophy, the Gen way. And, it's one of those where, that's the power of events is getting in the room with the people that you like, people that respect you, they trust you. And we have this formula with this that's like plus like equals 2 loves. So when you have an event, you get 2 people who like you and they meet each other. Well, one says, oh, I really like Todd. The other one says, I really like Todd. And they're reinforced to like you to the point where they love you. When they leave, right, they're reinforced to support you, to refer you, to be your client. They're reinforced and you weren't there. Yeah. You didn't have to be there. You were only there in spirit. Well, that's the power of an event, is that you get to be there, a little bit as a person, but you're also over the entire thing in spirit, which is even more powerful, especially if your spirit is love, generosity, and appreciation.
Yeah. Well, it's the giving back and being there around those and that whole process. And it's all good. And we're looking forward to having you come into town and going through a lot of that, because we wanted to keep it VIP for the purpose of people who understand and want to be alongside us on our journey. Mm-hmm. That's there. So what is a couple of questions I do have? Can a new agent, just so we can kind of give a little value of what's coming, just a little tidbits. Yeah. A lot of new agents, how do I build referrals when I don't have a sphere? And I know Tommy's working on a program right now to help new agents. And how do we, what are some things the new agents can do?
Yeah. Well, I love that, because I was a new agent and built my business entirely by referral. So, luckily I'm in a unique perspective that I've been there, done that, and still doing it and teaching it. Right. So I think the biggest thing is that you do have a sphere. We all have a sphere, and we need to, first of all, assess ourselves. How much of a sphere do we have, and how much are we going to have to build? And the thing is you can build a sphere through advertising or marketing, or there's another way. And most people don't ever think about it. And I'm telling you, this is huge in Orlando, is networking, right? Networking is the way to build a sphere while you build your sphere. If you approach networking the way that I teach it in 7L and the way that we do it with the 7L system, then you're going to build a very, very strong network very quickly. And you will be you may even get referrals quicker through that than you do your sphere of influence. And I'll give you an example of that is, when I was first in the business, people did not see me as a realtor. They saw me as a teacher and a coach. So guess what? They saw me as a teacher and a coach, So they don't want to refer somebody that's a teacher and coach who happens to do real estate. They want to refer a realtor, a full-time, somebody that's serious about a realtor. Well, that's what's interesting about working with Davey and Vanessa, my first client, is we were playing on the softball team and they were thinking about buying. Well, one of my friends said, well, you know, Michael does real estate. And they're like, oh, really? So we got into a conversation and it led to my first client. Well, it was because they didn't know about my teaching and coaching. Right. So the thing is when people look at you, they might see a hat, and with your sphere, you've got to very quickly, you know, take that hat off and put your realtor hat on in the right environment. So that's why I love events. Is here's what happened, right? So I worked with Davey and Vanessa. We had their housewarming party. All my friends from the softball team who knew me as a teacher and coach were at that housewarming party. Well, were they looking at me as a softball player or a teacher, as a coach? No, they were looking at me as a realtor who threw his client a housewarming party. I instantly changed hats with 50 people in 2 hours. So that's the power of the sphere. Now, you can do the same thing without a housewarming party. You can do it through a launch party, which we also teach. You can do it through events. You can do it through different educational ways. A slower way is to drip, and I'm telling you, a far less effective way is dripping a newsletter or a marketing newsletter that goes out to them once a month. They'll never change their mind about you. In fact, they may just unsubscribe from you in real life too, right? Because you're spamming them. But networking is a big part of this. So we the first thing we do with a lot of new agents is we assess where they're coming from. And sometimes let's just maximize the sphere. Let's maximize networking. And then all those funnel to the same place. And we have a system for that, right?
We'll dive into probably that you're going to go through some of that system at the event.
Oh yeah. 100%.
Okay, so this is why you need to get your tickets, because we only want to give you so much information here because we want you there. We want you to learn, because 30 minutes versus 3 hours, you're going to learn a lot more, there.
3 hours. Yeah. I'm going to give them 2 52-week plans. That's what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to give them a plan for the rest of the year where they can maximize their referrals week by week. And it's like, that's the thing, right? We all want referrals, but it's like, what do we do this week? Well, how about if I just tell you what you need to do this week to get referrals, Right. So. And
that's because if we can, we've got our goals set for the year. And if you haven't hit your goals yet, this is a way to come back, reassess your plan and how to build it without having to go buy more Zillow leads or buy more pay-per-click or buy other stuff and throw money at people who don't know you or like you, because you're talking 12 other realtors. So figure out how to build your business and catch your business up the next 6 months of the year.
And here's the other thing, Todd, is I'm going to show them a way to make money making money. Yeah. Right. That's legal.
Yep.
So I'm going to show that. Here's the thing. You could run my system and it won't cost you a dime. But what if you could run my system making money running the system, and then you also make money by the clients that the system generates, the referrals so you make money through the system, through the leads and the referrals, but you also make money. We have people who actually profit at the end of the year by running the 7L system. Now, here's the thing. They're making money before they get a single lead or a single referral.
Right. That's impressive. That's what I'm looking for. A lot of fun. We can make money while we're promoting this stuff. Perfect.
Yeah. Here's the thing. It's like Zillow, right? Instead of Zillow, you paying Zillow $5,000 a month, what if Zillow paid you $1,000 a month? Right. And you got the leads, right? That's what we're doing with the 7L system. Is we're generating income. We have a gal who made $22,500 last year on her entire budget. She actually made money doing what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So she actually made money on her marketing, not spent money.
Right. So it's called finding the right relationships there.
That's right.
That's funny.
Run the system.
So as we wrap up, what are 3 things people need to be consistent of when they're doing this?
So I think they need to first of all, they need to be ready to build their business based on love, generosity, and appreciation. Right. Okay. Is I think that they've been told to watch movies like Boiler Room, The Wolf on Wall Street, Glengarry Glen Ross, those things. And here's what's interesting about those movies is that, they're all about hardcore closing and being tough as nails and brass balls and all those. And the thing about it is at the end of the movie, all those salespeople are either dead or go to prison. So it's like, that's our model for sales. What if we could run a business a different way, right? Based on love. And here's the other thing. When you die, you're not going to want 2021 #1 salesperson on your tombstone. Right. You're going to want something about love, generosity, and appreciation. So we begin with the end in mind, and now let's go build it. So I think the first thing is just realize that you can win this way in a big way. So the second thing is you just need to block off the time to go to work. Each and every day, 2 or 3 hours. If you'll go to work 2 or 3 hours, you can be successful in this business.
Perfect.
Third thing is just understand that people do want to hear from you. If it's positive, if it's an opportunity, if it's a connection, right? They don't want to hear from you if you're going to sales pitch them, if you're going to ask them for something, or if you're looking for something from them. If you're looking to take, don't make the call, right? If you're looking to give, it's pretty easy to make the call. We don't call it lead generation. We call it generosity generation. We're not going to call for lead generation. We're going to call to generate generosity.
I like that better too. And it's, you've said that all three of those things were great points about why to do this, because obviously the #1 point, I don't want to die, with a phone in my hand and known for the guy that's calling 50 people a day. There are people who are successful at that, but that's all they do. And they're always burning and turning, trying to find that next opportunity. Versus I could stand here and have 3 people call me that I haven't talked to in a while that are interested in thinking about buying or selling. It's all about the approach of how you work with them.
Yeah. It's like, do you want a life of chasing, which is the life on the hamster wheel, right? Yeah. You chase and chase and chase. And at the end of the day, what do you have, right? Yeah. You're in the exact same place you started 20 years before, and you're dead in a cage, right? The cage that you created. Or you can quit chasing and start attracting. And then if you're attracting and attracting and attracting, what do you have? You have this big tribe of beautiful people who lift you, support you, help you grow, give you referrals, you give them referrals, and it's vibrant and it's got life, So
well, I've seen what you've done for some of my local friends with their coaching and how it's taken their business off, like Jenna and a few others. And it's amazing, that they go from like, what do I do next to, oh my God, I'm too busy. And I need to figure out what to do next because I've actually got more business than I can handle. So now it's like, wow, I need assistance. I need a team. I need this. And, now you're actually building businesses alongside it and, while having fun doing it.
Yeah. That's what I love, right? Is the first thing we do is leverage your lead generation. Yeah. Right. Leverage it. How do we leverage and scale it? And that's what I'm going to talk about. And then the second step is, all right, how do I leverage my time? Because you don't have enough hours. So you've got to start leveraging through people, systems, technology, and tools. Yeah. And that's, when we go to that level of coaching, we love it because that means they've got this first step of how to leverage your lead generation pretty much under control. So it's a lot of fun, man. I love what I do.
You want to talk about your coaching for a minute? Just kind of give them some tidbits. So, all right, we'll take that to that.
No, I mean, no, right? I mean, that's the thing, right? It's just like, if you here's the thing I'll do is if you're interested in things we do, go to joingengen.com, joingengen.com. Join the generosity generation first. Come in, look around, introduce yourself to my tribe, and see who we have and what we're doing. And I would say tiptoe in. And then hopefully you'll get to the point where you draw a line in the sand and you step across it and you're ready to commit and go to the next level. But, this isn't about coaching. It's really not. It's about a philosophy. It's about building your business and your life on, these 3 values that we've set: love, generosity, and appreciation. It's not fluff and stuff, right? It's not fluff and BS, which is short for bad stuff, right? It's strategic. It's tactical. It's practical, it's planned, it's organized, it's intensive, it's intentional, right? It's not we're not going to end up this event all holding hands singing Kumbaya, right? It's not that. It's very strategic. That's the thing. We have strategies around love. We have strategies around generosity. How does generosity lead to more business? That has to work. And then we have lots of strategies under appreciation,
No, I love that. And the way you're talking about inviting them into your tribe to learn about what you have going on, and can you align yourself around those same people before we say, hey, sign up for my coaching for $9.99 a month, whatever the costs are and whatever it is. We're not.
That's way too cheap, by the way.
Yeah. We're not here to try and get people to just pay us. We want people who are going to do what you're doing and do it correctly and want to be part of that culture. And
we have coaching. We have coaching from $97 to $19,997, $20,000 a month. So it's like, talking about it, it's just like it's so customized and personalized to their situation that it's just like, come in, look at our tribe, and then do a call with coach, right? Do a call with one of our representatives, and like they're going to ask you questions, and then at the end they may have a suggestion or two for you, but there's no pressure. That this is all you. I mean, here's the thing: you get pressed into a coaching arrangement, you're not coachable because you feel like you got pressed in. In fact, I mean, you try to get out any chance you can because you're passive aggressive. So, we're not going to force you into coaching. It's almost like you have to break the door down to get into our coaching. But here's what we've discovered. When we attract it and we have a filter and they want to be coached, all of a sudden what happens is they really want to be coached and they really see progress and they really grow as a person and as a business.
No, that's awesome. And it's, you a lot of the coaching companies, when they're trying to get you, they dig deep, and they dig deep enough in your pocket to pull the credit card out and then realize, okay, we've got him now, versus let's invite you in, learn about us, and then we'll talk.
Yeah. Well, there's coaches that have done very well that way, right? But what we've discovered is that's not a relationship, right? No. That's a transaction. They got the transaction, but a lot of those coaching companies have more former coaching clients than they do current coaching clients. And we don't want to be that type of scenario, right? We want to always have more current coaching clients. And if we do have former coaching clients, then they're still doing things with us, right? Which is, I believe, and I can't think, and maybe there is one or two, but I can't think of someone who has coached with us, had a bad experience, and no longer wants to deal with what we do, right? It's always been, I had a coaching client for 10 years in February that I just had to dude, we're more friends than we are coach. And I'm having trouble holding you accountable because I'm your friend, right? Yeah. And you know what? Here's the deal. Let's just not do this coaching thing anymore. Let's just be friends, right? It had the friend talk, right? And he was like, no, and then he thought about it and it's just like, you know what? You're right. Let's do this and make it happen. So here's the interesting thing, right? So now we're a couple of months out of it. We're having lunch the second week of July, right? So it's just one of those things where it's like, it's I don't know. It's just different. It's whatever the opposite of high pressure is what we do. Now, do we hold people accountable as hard as freaking nails? Yes, we do. Right. We'll hold your feet to the fire when it's necessary. But you know what? We'll hold your hands up in air to celebrate when it's also possible. Right. So that's what I love about it.
No, it's awesome. Well, guys, Michael, I really appreciate your time today. And everybody, we've got our event in Orlando, June 3rd from 1 to 4 at the Alfond Inn in Winter Park. We are almost sold out of the tickets, so definitely get yours today before we do sell out because the room has limited capacity. And, for that reason, we're also hosting virtual so we can, obviously get the national audience on this as well. So those links will be in the comments on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Appreciate you guys.
Todd, I'm just saying, I am only speaking on the road 5 times this year.
Yeah.
Right. So that's it. So this is one of those times. So let's make it happen. Right. If you can be there, let's be there. And, I think it's one of those where I'm excited about it because I'm only speaking 5 times. The years before I spoke 52 times, or more. So I hope people come out and there's going they're going to be re-energized by the new little things that we've discovered in the last 12 months. So
no, and you've got a lot of change that you're bringing too, because of the way the virtual events are now going on, and because of what 2020 brought us. So, and I appreciate being one of those 5 opportunities to have you in person in Orlando and be part of that that culture there. So I really do appreciate you taking Orlando as part of that. So cool. I really appreciate your time today, Michael, and everyone. Definitely click on the links. Let's get registered. Let's get this, make this event as powerful as possible. And we'll see you guys on June 3rd.
Thanks, Todd. I really appreciate the opportunity, and we'll see everybody on June 3rd.
Sounds good. Thank you.